I don't think it was a teeny tiny music video.
I think
it was a huge.
Yeah.
It was a big production.
It was a big production, and it was honestly a dream come true for me, and it was one of my best days on set.
It was one of my best days on set, too. We had a lot of fun.
Hilary, to start with you, this season kind of continues to maintain that any of Sophie's love interests could be the father. You know, we can't completely rule anybody out. But at the end of the premiere, she does admit that she needs to find out why she ran from this potentially great relationship with Jesse. So what is this journey of self-discovery going to look like for her this season?
Well, I think it looks really messy. And I think it looks confusing for her, and she's having to face a lot of things that she's avoided for most of her life. But I do think she's finally getting to the root of why she runs from that stuff. And lovely Neil Patrick Harris, who so graciously came back on our show, is one of like the reasons that, or one of the forces that pushes her towards, you know, fixing some of her issues, and so she can have a little bit of growth. You know, I don't think anyone wants her to have too much growth, so we can have a show still, but, you know, she's
stunted growth.
She's making moves at 30, and we're proud of her, you know?
Yeah, well, Chris, Jesse only got back with Meredith under the impression that Sophie didn't want to be with him. So now that he knows that she was coming back to the apartment, how might that change things going forward?
I don't know that he does know that she came back to the apartment, which is, I think, a big way that we go into the second season. I think he feels very much like this brief tryst with Sophie was short-lived and a disaster on his part, and I think it, if anything, cemented his kind of pessimism about love and has made him almost further away from personal growth. So I think he also has a lot of mistakes to make before he kind of can grow up. And thankfully a lot of those mistakes are very funny.
Yeah, well, Tien, we learned something new about Ellen in the latest episode that aired in episode 3, which is that she gets really anxious surrounding conflict. And I really appreciated that they put that in there because a lot of people feel the same way. Is this something that the season might explore for her?
For her character in particular, being a child of divorce, I think it's an interesting detail to share that she is, you know, has seen her parents fight, and so to see friends and people that she cares about fight is very anxious for her. And you learn that she actually gets to see a therapist, which I think, which is an insane episode. But I also think is so important that I think we all should be taking care of our mental health. And so to see that in a sitcom is really exciting. So I'm excited for those scenes.
And Hilary, I wanted to ask you about Sophie's photo, because as of episode 3, it went away on a taxi. But I'm sure you can't get too much into it, but is it possible that there's some kind of parallel there to either the blue French horn, the yellow umbrella? Are we going to learn about any of that this season?
I don't love this question for me because I didn't watch How I Met Your Mother in its entirety. I've seen many, many episodes. I feel like I should call my husband. Like, can I phone a friend? Can I use to phone a friend? My husband would know because he was such a fan. But I don't know. Of course, we're going to get it back, and of course, they're going to do it.
Well,
in a clever way.
we know that we see it established in older Sophie's apartment, so we know at some point it comes back around. But like, I honestly don't know. I don't know if or when we answer that question. Yeah. I mean, there's so many Easter eggs that they planted. They answer so many of them, but so many others are still left unanswered, which I think is really exciting for us to sort of see how their storyboard
and their story tree must be psychotic. Because they've got to go so far in the future to be like, oh, we planted that seed for this thing to like come to fruition.
And so far in the past, they put How I Met Your Mother characters into the. It's just it's insane.
Oh my goodness, yes. It's amazing how many things that they are able to put in there that you don't know.
They also came from This Is Us. So like, they're good at that time jumping.
They definitely know how to do that well. That's a good point.
Well, lastly, I just wanted to ask if you each have a favorite episode this season that you've shot that you're excited for people to see.
I really liked, there's one episode, Hilary and I, because I hadn't gotten a chance to spend, like Ellen and Sophie haven't gotten to spend that much time, and I had so much fun, because like, when is it? We shot a little bit of a teeny tiny music video, and when is a dream come true?
By the way, I don't think it was the teeny tiny music video.
I think
it was a huge,
it was a big production.
It was a big production, and it was honestly a dream come true for me, and it was one of my best days on set.
It was one of my best days on set too. We had a lot of fun. It was a wild concept.
Yes, it was.
But it was a lot of fun. And then I have to say the last episode
oh my God, yes.
was very satisfying. We had a live audience, and we had a lot of things get buttoned up at the end of this season. But it's like kind of a heart-wrencher too.
I know.
I think my favorite, the one that just popped in my head, aside from the two that you guys just mentioned, is there's this episode called Rewardishment.
Oh, yeah.
And it's one of the more just absurd episodes on the show, which we get to do more because we have 20. We don't have to like fit so much plot in. We can have kind of crazy hijinks episodes. And that was one where it was like each one of the actors on our show has to do something like beyond belief absurd, and watching each one of us tee up to be like, okay, your turn to do your ridiculous batshit crazy thing was really a joy to see and so funny.
Awesome. Well, I'm going to have to wrap, but thank you guys so much for chatting with me. Really enjoying the season so far. Can't wait to see what's next.
Thank you.
Have a good one.
All right. Thanks, guys. You too.